Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Tariq Shahzad and our today topic is Ascomycota. It is the second most important phylum of the kingdom fungi. That what is Ascomycota, and you know that Ascomycota has three names: Ascomycota, Ascomycetes, and sac fungi. There is a reason behind this name, that why we call it Ascomycetes or Ascomycota or sac fungi. It is due to that their body form look like a sac. That's why we call them as a sac fungi or Ascomycetes or Ascomycota. Asco means ascus, ascus means sac, thalia. So sac fungi have their body form like a sac. That way we'll call it as a sac fungi. And you know that Ascomycetes, asco mean ascus, ascus means sac, and cetes is related to fungi. So that's why they are sac fungi. We call them as a Ascomycetes. That is a long question that you have to solve this in such a way that first of all you have to write it introduction, and next one about it habitat that where they are found, and third one is about the type of fungi or which type of fungi are present in this group, and next how reproduction takes place in the phylum Ascomycetes, and number fifth you have to write about its example. So you have to write in such a way that it will become easy for your examiner to check, and it will a very effective representation of a student. So we started from this that Ascomycota has three names: Ascomycota, Ascomycetes, and sac fungi. This one is an MCQ, that sac fungi is related to Ascomycota or Ascomycetes. Mark it as an MCQs. And next one is, it is the largest group. This one is an also MCQs from this topic, that it is a largest group among all the fungi phylum. And next one is, it consists of 60,000 species, and out of 60,000 species 50% are in lichen. This one is an MCQ, and rest about in mycorrhizal as independent form. Mycorrhizal form is association. This one is an also MCQ. That was your introduction. So put introduction as a separate paragraph, and next put a title here about habitat. That word is the habitat of Ascomycota. Most are terrestrial. Terrestrial means they are found on a land, and next one, some are aquatic. In your book there is only written marine and freshwater, but it will effective if you put heading of terrestrial and aquatic. Terrestrial mean on dry environment or dry places, whereas some are aquatic. Aquatic mean they may be marine or freshwater both. Next one is type of fungi. That what type of fungi is included in the Ascomycota? It is first group in this kingdom fungi, that it consists of unicellular yeast to multicellular large cup-shaped bacteria. So this group consists of both these two types of organism: unicellular organism like yeast, and large cup-shaped organisms like morels. So it consists of two types of fungi: unicellular yeast and multicellular cup-shaped fungi, that is morels. Next one is their hyphae are septate, or they have septate hyphae. And next one is lengthy dikaryotic phase, and we have already studied about this, that Ascomycetes have large or lengthy dikaryotic phase. During dikaryotic phase they form ascocarp. It means that their ascocarp consists of dikaryotic hyphae or dikaryotic phase. This one is an also MCQs. Mark here as MCQ. That was all about the type of fungi. Next is reproduction, that how they reproduce. Reproduction is, both type of reproduction is present: sexual reproduction as well as asexual reproduction. So we will discuss about their sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction, number first, sexually reproduce through ascospores. Mean they can Ascomycota can reproduce sexually as well as asexually, but their sexual spores are called ascospores. And we know that asexual spores are conidiospores or conidia. So sexually reproduce through ascospores, but there is a limited number of ascospores in each reproducing structure, that are 8 spores. This one is an also MCQs. Mark in your book it as an MCQs that they produce ascospores, and number of ascospores per ascus is 8. That one is an also MCQs. Next is, as we know that spores are haploid, so ascospores are also haploid. And next one, they produce inside ascus. They produce inside ascus. Most fungi have ascocarp. Not all fungi. Most fungi have ascocarp. No, keep in mind that, or try to understand that some fungi, dikaryotic hyphae or mycelium combine together to form a complex fruiting body, and that is known as ascocarp. In ascocarp, ascus is produced, and in ascus, ascospores are produced, and there are 8 ascospores per ascus. Once again, most Ascomycetes consist of dikaryotic fruiting body, that is called ascocarp, and within the ascocarp, ascus are present, and within the ascus, ascospores are present, that are 8 in number. So in this diagram I try my best to show that all black colored material is ascocarp, or this one is fruiting body and known as ascocarp. Within ascocarp, these red lines or red part shows ascus, and within ascus the green color ascospores are present, that is appropriately 8 in number. So that was about ascocarp. Once again, most fungi consist of ascocarp. Each ascocarp consists of ascus. Each ascus consists of ascospores. That was all about the sexual reproduction. Next one is asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction through conidia, only conidia, and we have already learned about conidia and asexual reproduction, so in your book, and we will not discuss it here. And next one is example. Last heading of this topic is example, and its example is yeast. Yeast is unicellular, yeast is non-hyphal, yeast is microscopic. Yeast is unicellular, yeast is non-hyphal, yeast is microscopic. All these 3 properties are as an MCQs, and keep in mind that these properties are only related to yeast, because yeast is only one of the fungi that is unicellular. Next one is yeast can reproduce through asexual reproduction as well as sexual reproduction. It can reproduce both asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction through budding, asexual reproduction through budding in case of yeast, whereas sexual reproduction takes place through basidia or basidiospores and ascospore. That was sexual reproduction. So keep in mind that not only yeast reproduce by forming ascospores, it can reproduce through forming basidiospore. So this one is an also MCQs. Next one is uses. What are the uses of yeast? Yeast is uses in fermentation of carbohydrates. Its fermenting capabilities or capacities are used to for the fermentation of glucose. Glucose is broken down into 2 molecules of pyruvic acid, and pyruvic acid, in the absence of oxygen, it breaks down to form ethanol and carbon dioxide. There is no need to write a proper equation here. You only write here that glucose change into ethanol and carbon dioxide, and that is carried out with the help of yeast. Next one is ethanol. Maybe it is called as ethyl alcohol, and it is alcoholic fermentation, or alcohol is formed, the alcoholic fermentation. And next one, it is a great economic importance, means it is used in different beverage industries. And last line of this paragraph is an also MCQs, that Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Saccharomyces cerevisiae is an example of yeast and is most commonly exploited yeast. This one is an also MCQ that is present in the last line of this topic, and you have to mark it as an MCQ. That was all about the phylum Ascomycetes, and I hope that you learn best from this platform, and I hope if you have question you can ask me in comment section. Allah Hafiz.